has cleared his SSB from Bhopal for OTA entry. And the date was 4th of August. So, Arun, thank you for joining us. Can you hear and see me clearly?
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir? Yes, sir.
So Arun is here with us, and I just like to request him to share his journey, because he was a student of online 14 batch, just like all of you. Now we are all aware that the online teaching may soon come to an end, because hopefully the third wave may not be that serious, or if it is, next 1 or 2 months it will pass, and online will be probably go back into oblivion as it was earlier, because a lot of students are keen to go back to offline mode of learning, but right now it's dangerous. But Arun was part of the online course like all of you. And how did you make use of the online uh, curriculum? How did you make use of online teaching? And how did you then handle your preparation before you went for research? Arun.
Yes, sir. Jai, sir. And Jai, everyone. Indeed, it was a very good experience. Just like
be slightly louder. You got to be slightly louder.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You're audible, but be slightly louder. Yeah, that's it.
Sure, sir. Sure. So when I was starting with the online batch, I had the same fears just like everybody else. Like how will the GTO sessions will be conducted? How will the rest of the practice sessions be conducted? Will we get an equal opportunity to share our experience, to participate? But trust me, it's a worthwhile experience. You will learn everything. There will hardly be any doubts while you are attending SSB. And the training that sir gave me, it was extremely useful for me. I applied everything there, and there is hardly anything that you need to do by yourself. If you follow it to the letter and spirit, that is what I personally felt, sir.
Right. So coming to the training as such, how did you prepare? That they would be keen to know, how did you prepare for stage 1? How did you prepare for psych test? So what did you do for your physical fitness? And about the interview, you had a mock interview, you had some interview session beforehand. So how did you use all that knowledge to prepare?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So as far as the first session was concerned, first stage is concerned, for the OIR, I believe that it's very simple. You just need to do your basics, and whatever was done in our classes, I used to do that. And in addition to that, I also used to do some random online books for practice. And as far as PPTT is concerned, there is ample amount of practice which is being done in the class itself. So if you do it diligently, and if you also participate in the pictures and the practices that sir conducts on the WhatsApp group, I am sure that you will be able to ace it. In addition to that, I always made it a point to jot on whatever new ideas come to my mind. I used to follow a page on Instagram as well as Facebook, which is called as the Better India. It shows all the new and positive developments that are happening in India, inspirational stories about people. I always used to read them. So that is one source where I used to get a lot of ideas from. And in addition to that, I also used to build on that stories. And as far as my narration is concerned, since my peer group in college was well, we used to converse in English, and that improved my communication skills to a great extent. And apart from that, I was pretty confident while narrating, so narration was not a problem for me. But I would definitely say that when you're narrating your story in that 1 minute, be very confident, because that sets the tone for the rest of your performance in the first stage. Coming to the second stage, the psychology test, I would say practice diligently. Whatever is being told in the class, follow it. I'm sure that as far as the psychology teachers are concerned, they'll give you ample advice, and note all of the hundis that sir gives you, and keep it in mind. And before attending my SSB interview, I made it a point to revise all the points, all the do's and don'ts. I made sure I did not read the stories as such, but I made sure that I have to do all the do's and don'ts, and I have to make sure that I don't repeat it at all. And before my SSB interview, 1 week before, my friend Pradyuman, we used to meet at our home, and then we used to practice all of it together. So we used to discuss themes together. We used to discuss all the other interviewing procedures, the GTO sessions, all of that together. So I would say friendship and synergy in that sense also helped me to a great extent. He also made it through a few days later. And as far as my interview was concerned, yes, sir. As far as my interview was concerned, I made it a point to write down the answers to all the PIQs and the CIQs which sir gave us. my interview was with Sir SB Ghosh, and he made me realize all of my flaws, and I made it a point to note it all down and to work on it methodically. I had this habit of talking very fast during the interviews, as if, okay, this is some race which is going on. And I realized that half of my points were being eaten up in that. So I made it a point to reduce my speed while talking and also build up on my GK. As far as my GK and the rest of the current affairs is concerned, I used to read the newspaper on a daily basis, at least skim through it. And me and Pradyuman, we used to talk daily. So we used to discuss it on call. So whatever informative videos we see on Instagram or on any other source or Google News, we used to share, we created a common group wherein whatever important news article came, we shared it to that group and we made it a point to read it and discuss it with each other. So that is how we covered the current affairs part of it. And that was just follow whatever is being taught in the class. Sir will teach you everything. As far as the physical aspect is also concerned, just focus on your physical fitness, because there might be chances that right after your GOR is completed, your individual obstacle might start, which was the case in my situation. It was raining heavily. Don't feel that agar barish hogi to aapko koi chhot di jayegi. No, nothing of that sort will be there. It was raining heavily during my GOR, and immediately after that, I thought, okay, lecture it might happen. So we were all quite relaxed. And as soon as we went towards, our CHM sir said, okay, aap to tumhara IO hone wala hai. And we were like, sir, already koi jaan bachi nahi, kaise karenge? And mine was test number 1.
Oh my God.
बारिश हो रही थी बहुत ज़्यादा.
Right.
Yes, sir. So sir said, just go, जितने हो सकते आप करिए. So I made a mental map of all the structures there. I made it a point कि okay, मेरे को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा points बटोरने हैं. हो सकता है फिसलन वगैरह हो सकती है. So just be mindful of it. I slipped once or twice. I was all covered in the mud, but still I went on. That is the spirit. I guess it was the spirit which he saw. I slipped. I carried on. I slipped. I carried on. And I was able to do 8 obstacles because the surfaces were quite wet and you were not able to run fast between the obstacles. So that was a good thing. And as far as the other aspects of my GTO were concerned, like GD discussion went well. And in my group planning exercise, although sir told me to write all the problems with priorities, there were 4 problems, but I was able to write only 3. But in the discussion part, I made it up. So I feel even if you don't do that and if you cover up in the discussion part, you will be good to go. So don't worry about anything. And I made it a point that after each and every test which is there, I have to clear my mind and I have to just focus on the next. I don't take the performance of the previous test to the next test. I just start everything from a clean slate. And I feel that really helped me to focus on each and every task and give it my best. And in my psychology test, I was able to complete all the pictures. Okay, in my previous SSB, there were a lot of pictures which sir told me, which also came there, like out of 12, 8 images came. But this time only 1 image came. But despite of that, I was able to do it very comfortably because we had how to think and how to write. We knew it. So I completed it in time. As far as VAT was concerned, I completed 60 or 50 VAT very easily within time. And in SRT, I was able to do 40. And self-description test also I was able to do within 10 minutes. And the 5 minutes which was left, I tried to write the rest of the SRTs and some of the VAT which was left. So that is how I covered my psych. I was quite confident with my psych. And as far as the interview was concerned, my interview happened on the first day itself, since my chest number was 1. And even before my interview started, there was a 30-40 minute gap because my interviewing officer was having coffee. So we had to wait outside for 30-40 minutes. So I was just roaming around, observing what all was there, out of curiosity, out of sheer curiosity. And when I went in there, 30 minutes into the interview, he asked me, okay, Arun, for how long were you waiting outside? I said, sir, for around 30-40 minutes. Okay, Arun, tell me, what all did you observe? He asked me exactly what I was doing for the last 30-40 minutes. So I gave a verbatim description of everything which was there. There were 2 busts of Paramveer Chakra bodies. There were 2 quotes on the left and right hand side. I recited it verbatim and he was quite impressed. He immediately looked up and said that that is an excellent observation. So that one particular part gave me immense confidence. And most of the questions were revolving around CIQs only. There was hardly any question which came outside. Yes, there were general knowledge questions which were there. Some of the questions which they asked me was, if you are at Visakhapatnam and you have to reach New York, what is the sea route which you will be taking? he also asked me on Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict, but in a different manner. He asked me, okay, there is a conflict which is happening in Eastern Europe. Tell me about it, and what is the role of technology in that particular war? Since I prepared it well, I started with the history and I explained it for the next 5 minutes. He was listening very carefully, and thereafter he did not ask me a single current affairs question. And thereafter he asked me a few questions on maths and my daily routine. And so, since I was also working in INCS Delhi, the naval canteen, and later I found out that my deputy president was from the Army Supply Service Corps. So he asked me a lot of questions on what I was doing currently. Since we are preparing an e-commerce website for the defense personnel, he was very much interested. So for around 30 minutes, my interview was just around that. My interview lasted for around an hour, 10 minutes. And I was quite satisfied by the end of it. I was very confident. He was also smiling. I was also smiling. And whatever question that he was posing, if I did not know, I simply said, sir, I did not know. Sorry, I'll definitely find out and let you know later. And he also asked me, what do you want to get into in the army? I said, sir, infantry. So he said, okay, which regiment do you want to get in? I said, sir, whichever is assigned to me, I'll do my best. But still, name a few. Name one at least. I said, sir, Madras regiment. He said, why? I gave the reasons. Then he said, okay, name one battle honor. I said, sir, I'm not really aware of it. Sir said, I asked you because you said that Madras regiment. Anyone else said, just because you insisted, that's the reason why I said Madras regiment. But definitely, I'll find out about it, sir. That was the only question that he asked as far as the military knowledge was concerned. And then he also asked equivalent ranks as well. He said, what is the equivalent rank of brigadier in Air Force and Navy? Yes, mostly it was around that. And then he asked about my educational details, my family details, my friends, what I do in my free time. And that was the interview part, sir.
Right. So that was nice to hear about this, especially about the project you're doing in the naval canteen. So we had just discussed about it before you went.
Yes, sir.
I remember you asked me, and I had told you how you can, leverage or
Right, sir.
the best part of it. That was good that you were able to answer. So the class presently, I don't think there will be, or if they ask, they'll be asking a lot of questions which right now we'll be covering. So it's okay that we'll not be taking questions on this because most of the things they're yet to cover, they're yet to understand how AMAS is going to tackle it. But nonetheless, I just wanted to be sure that this online thing was able to really help you, Arun. I'm very sure you were able to pick up because having known you for about 6 months, you did out a course with us about 6 months back, I think 6 to 7 months back.
Yes,
and
sir.
thereafter you stayed in touch, and that's the best part of AMAS because we don't leave the candidates. Yeah, I know once you didn't make it in the first attempt, but then you worked hard, you came back, you discussed this whole thing out. Then the next attempt was pretty simple. I think you even joined for some. Very happy to see even Pradyuman, also your friend with whom you are prepared. Both of you qualifying and feeling good about
Yes,
it. So thank you very much, Arun. You are going. I know you are again going for another SSB. You're not waiting for the merit, which I'm sure you will make it in the merit. But nonetheless, you have a chance. So best wishes to you for your next. To see you with two successes under your feet, so that you can choose which one you want to join. Okay, right. So thank you very much and all the best. Yeah, please add whatever you want to add.
So as far as students were asking about Allahabad previously, let me tell you one thing. Last year also, my SSB was from 31st July to 4th August. This year also, it was from 31st July to 4th August. Last year on the same day, I could not make it through. But on the same day this year, I was able to make it through. So destiny can happen anytime.
Right.
You can change your own destiny. Just make sure that you give your best. There is nothing that is going to stop.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Right. Thank you so much, Arun, for joining. So now let me just give them instructions because from Monday they are going to start with the classes. Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay.
All the best to everyone. Thank you so much, sir.
Right. So now let me focus on this present batch. Afsana, are you there? Afsana?
Yes, sir. I'm here, sir.
Yeah, you can give the instructions, and then in the end, I will convey my points to this present batch.
Okay, right, sir. Good afternoon, all of you. Am I audible?